Hi, Bookworm.
Hi, Barb.
The book I've brought you today has a very long title.
Yeah, I can see that. It covers almost half the page, doesn't it?
Yes.
John Brown, Rose and the Midnight Cat.
That's right. What do you think it's about?
Let me guess. It's about a man called John Brown. Has to be a rose and a cat. Got it in one.
Well, not quite. It's about a dog called John Brown, a lady called Rose, and a cat.
A dog called John Brown?
There he is there.
Oh, I know what kind of a dog that is. That's an English sheepdog.
Right, with hair all over his face.
Yeah. I don't know how they see with all that hair all over their face. At least my antenna don't give me much trouble.
No, that's right.
Anyway, what happens in the story?
Well, John Brown and Rose are living very happily together.
Ah.
We're all right, John Brown, said Rose. Just the two of us, you and me.
Oh, isn't that nice?
And then one day when John Brown is sitting happily in his favourite chair by the fire,
Cozy.
Rose says, "What's that in the garden, John Brown?"
What is
and
it?
John Brown will not look
Why not? Why not?
because he knows it's a cat.
Oh, goody. A cat.
Well...
They haven't got a cat.
No, they don't.
But they've got plenty of room for a cat.
Well, they have, but John Brown doesn't want a cat.
Oh, dear. Why not?
Well...
Oh, I know. He doesn't want to share Rose. He's
right.
jealous.
He certainly doesn't want to share Rose.
Yeah.
So he meets the cat in the garden at midnight.
I see the Midnight Cat. And there it is.
Yes, and he tells the midnight cat to stay away. "We don't need you, cat," he says. "We're all right, Rose and I."
Oh, that's very unkind. What happens?
Well, every night before she goes to bed, Rose puts out a bowl of milk for the cat.
That's nice.
And every night before he goes to bed, John Brown tips it out.
Poor John Brown. He really doesn't want that cat, does he?
No, he doesn't. "You don't need a cat," he tells Rose. "You've got me."
But Rose might want a cat too.
Well, yes.
What happens?
Well, one day she doesn't get up. She says she's very sick and she'll never get up again.
Goodness, what can John Brown do about that?
Well, he thinks about it, and he thinks about it, and finally he asks, "Oh, will the midnight cat make you better?" "Oh, yes," says Rose. "That's just what I want, the midnight cat."
And they all live happily ever after. Ta-da!
They all live happily ever after, Bookworm.
John
Brown, Rose, and the Midnight Cat.
Do you know what, Barb?
What's that?
I think that she tricked him.
Oh, do you?
I think so. Anyway, there's a question I've been meaning to ask you about that title.
Oh, far away, Bookworm.
How does a dog get a name like John Brown? Yeah.
Well, you see, John Brown is a very English sort of name.
Yeah.
And?
And John Brown is a very English sort of sheepdog.
Right.
Yeah.
So put two and two together.
And you get four, yes. And that makes sense. How many kinds of sheepdog do you know?
Well, I now know about an English sheepdog, don't I, from John
But
Brown?
Australia has different kinds of sheepdogs, doesn't
They're
it?
not as here.
This week's book was John Brown, Rose and the Midnight Cat. Story by Jenny Wagner and illustrations by Ron Brooks. An Australian book published by Kestrel.